Hi, I'm Mike Thompson, coming to you from what is the coolest space on campus. I'm in the Innovation Hub's Digital Fabrication Lab, where we will help you make pretty much anything that you could possibly want to make. This video is going to talk about how to operate our 3D printers, and I'll walk you through the basic steps so that you can operate them safely and efficiently, and get good quality parts. The printers we have here are Craftbots and MakerBots. These are the basic fused filament printers. They're very good for functional prototypes, they're very cheap, and they're fairly fast. Fused filament, in case you're unaware about 3D printing at all, is basically like a hot glue gun. It melts a plastic and extrudes it into a pattern to create three-dimensional shapes. Now, it's called rapid prototyping, but it's still fairly slow. It takes a long time to build up this much stuff. Imagine if you had to take a glue gun and go back and forth over and over in layers upon layer and build up a part like this. The first thing to check, of course, is the filament on the back. We primarily use PLA, which stands for polylactic acid, which is a bit of a misnomer, but PLA is the #1 filament that you're going to run into pretty much anywhere. The #2 filament is ABS. We have the capability to print both, although the MakerBots will only print PLA. PLA typically runs out of the extruder at 210 degrees Fahrenheit, give or take 10 degrees, depending on the brand and maybe a couple adjustments that you might want to make. ABS runs significantly hotter at 250. Although we've never really found a good reason here to print ABS, PLA works for anything I've ever printed, and it produces really good quality, strong, useful parts. So for the most part, you're probably going to find PLA, and that's what you're going to be using. So once you know that you've got enough PLA loaded for your job, you want to make sure there's nothing else on the print bed. We've got a part here that's been sitting. So let's remove that. To remove your parts, you simply give them a little nudge once the bed is cooled. Now I say bed is cooled because these Craftbots, like a lot of other printers out there, have heated beds. The purpose of this is to get the part to stick really well to the bed. If the part doesn't stick, then the extruder is going to go around and move your part and therefore knock it out of place. And that's no good. We typically run the beds at 70 degrees Celsius. The default is 60, but we found by bumping it 10 degrees, you get a little bit better adhesion. Now these printers aren't connected to any computers. These don't have any internal memory, but they come with these tiny little flash drives on top. When you're ready to print, go tell the front desk staff, and they'll walk over to the computer with you and look over your print to make sure you'll get a nice quality part. If it's all okay, they'll hand you the flash drive, and you'll save your G-code over here on the right in red to this flash drive. Then once it's saved, go put the flash drive in the printer. The most recently loaded file will be on top of the list. Of course, you can also scroll down. It's a touch screen. You could go down and find a folder, say, and then if you hit the right-facing arrow, you will pick that folder, and then you can scroll within that. To go back up a folder, you simply push the up folder icon. When you finally get settled on the print you want, you hit the little icon in the bottom right. That looks like a printer. One other thing you're going to probably want to mess with is the axes feature, especially when you're done printing. You'll hit axes. Now, the 4 top buttons all say X, Y, Z, and then X, Y, Z, but they're inside of what looks like a house or a home. We don't typically ever press the home buttons because occasionally, and I've done this myself, this is one of the more common mistakes, is people will hit the Z home or the XYZ home button and they'll have a part still on the bed. And what will happen is that thing will try to home from wherever it is and crash the head of the extruder into the part that's still on the bed. So never press the home buttons. Instead, go to this little arrow at the bottom center, and then that will bring up the individual axes. Pretty much the only button we'll ever mess with is the Z plus button to drive the bed down after the part has finished. And you simply hold it or tap it for intermittent. To remove our part, once the bed has cooled, this little area right here will say hot when it's hot because it's got a temperature sensitive paint in there. Once the plate is cooled, the part will release itself. The heating helps it stick, so when it's cold, it'll come off a little easier. And then You simply just give it a little nudge or gently pry and it'll come right up. Well, that's pretty much all there is to actually using these printers. It's really, really simple. In the next video, I'll show you how to use the software to go actually set up your print so that you get the best possible part. I'm Mike Thompson, coming to you from the Innovation Hub's Digital Fabrication Lab. Come on down and see us. And what do you want to make?